that parents are being dragged into poverty and kept there by a system that's against them.
They are. This started after the Second World War. A lot of it could be put at the feet of feminism, who said, we want to go out. I mean, working class women always worked. They had to work. They needed the money. Yep. But middle class women didn't have to work, and they wanted to work. They were forced to work. They thought it was going to liberate them. And rolled on 50, 60, 70 years. Almost every woman I know who works, who's got children and works full time, is on antidepressants, is anxious, is depressed, because they can't do everything. And what we've, the dream we've sold women is having a career is the most important thing in your life. But the truth be told, being a mum and being a fantastic mum is the best job in the world. And it's the job that will fulfill you throughout your whole life. Careers are nothing, jobs are nothing. We've sold people a lie.
I've got to be honest with you, I just sit there and I think we've exchanged true happiness for consumerism. You know, you can pick up your phone and order a comb for 50p and it'll be delivered the next day. But actually, the cost of that is mass immigration to staff the warehouses. The cost is of pushing down prices. The cost is of giving away our economics to Silicon Valley. And I just don't think the world's become a better place for the consumerism that we've got now. Let's just be clear, nobody's stupid enough to say things like computers and IT and technology are bad things in of themselves. But what we've done is use them to drive down pay and drive down standards. And that's where the problem lies.
It is, but let's go back to one of your first points, mass immigration. So every time we have new technology, everyone's worried that it's going to take everyone's jobs away. And that's how we got, the Industrial Revolution.
The Luddites.
Yeah, exactly. People throwing clogs in machine work to break the mechanisms because they thought they would take their jobs. It gets rid of poor jobs and it always then creates better jobs. The reason why it's not created better jobs in the UK is because we keep importing millions of low-skilled, cheap labour.
Why are our political leaders so obsessed towards moving us to a third world economy? And what I mean by third world economy is low-skilled, low-paid. OK, we have, if you like, an investor class, people who own assets. But then you've just got a large cannon fodder class, and it just feels like the third world. But our politicians seem to think that's marvellous.
It's the easy option, isn't it? Everything we do in this country now revolves around a 4-year political cycle. No politician wants to invest their time, energy and resources into improving the country 10 years from now, 2 decades from now, because they will not be given the credit. They probably won't even be politicians then. I've worked with politicians. Every politician has said to me, Nick, I want something to change in 18 months. What can you do in 18 months? And the answer is, I can do nothing, but I can make it look like I'm doing something. And they always go, do that then. Just make it look like you're doing something. So we don't fix our problems. We don't plan for the future.
Well, actually, I would argue we make it worse because what that short-termism is coupled with, for the same reasons that you've explained, and I think people will logically see this, the long-term destruction of the public finances is something that they're very keen on, because what they know is, because things that come into fruition in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, they won't be blamed for. If what they do is come up with a short-term eye-catching policy now, but screw the public finances for people in 50 years' time, it's all good to go.
Yeah, I've just thought about this in my new book, which comes out in a couple of weeks, and I call this a Ponzi scheme. We've got politicians who are reaping so-called benefits now for the economy, knowing we're going to be bankrupt in a couple of years' time. And all they're doing is hoping we don't go bankrupt on their watch. They're hoping we can just push it another 5 years, then we can go bankrupt. And you know what? I won't be Prime Minister. I won't be Chancellor. I would have retired. I'll be a multimillionaire. It won't affect me. They keep kicking the can down the road. And this is just a Ponzi scheme. And all Ponzi schemes eventually collapse upon themselves.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I've got to be honest with you, this crazy situation where the way money's principally created. So what we do is at the Bank of England, we create a bond and then we loan it to a bank and then rent it back to pay for government spending, and you think this is madness. But of course the big problem with something like quantitative easing is people think that finance is really difficult to understand, and a lot of it is. But look, if £10 is worth €10 and you create an additional pound, there are now £11 worth €10, which is whatever it is, 90 cents, rather than it being €1. Very simple. And if you say, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We've got £10 and they're worth €10, but we're going to create another £10. So now the totality of the market is £20, and that means that's still worth €10. So they're worth €0.50 each for £1. That's all quantitative easing is. And then the government spends the money. It's just a big tax rise.
One of the problems is nobody wants to do hard work anymore in this country. I'm talking about the people and I'm talking about the politicians.
Yeah.
It takes hard work to create wealth. It takes hard work to build a business. It takes hard work to build an economy that treats people fairly and pays people a decent wage for a decent day's work. Quantitative easing, borrowing money, putting ourselves in debt is easy. It's a short-term answer for a long-term complicated problem. And nobody has the backbone and no one has the vision. And no one has the love of this country anymore. That's a big part of it. These politicians, they don't love the country like they used to 50 years ago, because those politicians fought in wars and had friends die for this country. The worst they've done is it's gone to university and got a crap education. That's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. And there's no patriots. There's no one who wants to put this country first. Hence why we're now giving away parts of the British territory.
Did you enjoy that video? I think you did. Come on now, hit that bell, subscribe, comment. Let's build this channel. I need more followers. I need more subscribers. Be part of the journey. See you soon.